This is Charlie giving you Friday's market commentary. I hope you're very well. I will be going through the Footsie and other analysis. So I've got analysis on oil today as well. But obviously Friday morning, always looking to trade. And so I've got the dollar yen up here. I'm going to talk about the markets and what's happened over the last couple of day or so, certainly yesterday. Shortly, but first of all, I just want to set the scene for what I'm looking for here. Dollar yen, again, on a 5-minute chart here, we've had a nice little run up here this morning so far. If I take you out to an hourly chart, basically what's happening at the moment, if I bring the pen up, is we've got no positive momentum on the hourly chart, so we're actually marginally negative on the hourly charts. Now, between this peak here and the current peak we're making, we are diverging literally as I'm speaking here. So what I'm actually waiting for is we've just made a little peak here. We've put a little extreme in. I'm looking for us to just having this dip as we currently are, and then on the next candle, maybe it'll be on the next candle, go up and go a little bit higher. We've got some pivots up there, and if we can do that, then I'm going to actually look to put a divergence trade in today, which I don't do very often, counter trend trade, but it's looking like we're set for that. So I'm just going to see if that's the way we're going to roll. So I'll just press pause for a minute. Okay, so we've got the divergence in play. Basically, sorry, it's on the 2-minute chart. So I've just put. What I'm going to do is try and leg into this trade. I'm going to give it about 20 pips stop because we could still have another little flurry up. So I'm not in a rush to go all in straight away. So I'm going to leg in with my units. You know, I usually put in 4 units. So we'll just put them in if on any further strength. Excuse me. And then we're just going to see if this is going to work out. I mean, I think ultimately it's going to. We've got the divergence in place on the hourly charts. We've got a little divergence on the 2-minute charts. But the thing is that obviously you can diverge, and this could run up another 50 points and still be diverging. So, but we have run into some resistance off a little pivot, and so it's just a case of seeing whether we're going to hold on how much we're going to hold. So, but I'm looking at about 20-point stop, so I'm going to put it in. My stop's in about 45. So I'm just looking to see if I can at least get another unit in first before I do anything more. And then we shall see how it plays out from there. So just seeing if we can get another unit in. I suspect it's not quite done just yet, but it could be, of course. Let's put one in anyway, and then at least we've got 2 in. Right, so I've got 2 units in now. So bring over the accounts so you can see them both. Right, so here's the 2 units. So we've got them both in here, 150, 25.2, 25.3. Okay, so I'll sort the stops out in a second. I can do it right now, actually, can't I? So 101. Wow, what a move we had yesterday. 0.450. And let's put it on here. 101.450. Now, like I said, I don't often do reversal type trades, but sometimes if we're getting a divergence on a 2-minute time frame and a larger divergence on an hourly time frame, plus the hourly momentum is negative, even though the trend overall, if I take you to an hourly chart, obviously the trend has been up. So but the only thing is I can't gauge or measure is whether this candle, we could, like I said, we could fly up another 40 points yet, and of course that would then just stop me out anyway. So it's more just a case of knowing or finding out whether it's going to stop here, as it's just hit a little pivot point up there, and whether that's going to cap it off and it's going to back off a little bit now or not. So we shall have to see, but we'll just see, really, I guess. What else have I got to say here? So, but yeah, so most of the time it's always trend based, but we'll see. And what I'll do is I'll look to take something off if it comes down to the lower band level. We'll take some profit there. But then by that stage, then I'll just move the stop down to the high, which is practically where we got in, and that's how I'd look to trade manage it, and then look for further levels down if that was indeed set up. It's too early to tell just yet, but nevertheless we'll see. I'll bring the account over, and then we'll have one of these to have the close out level. So like I said, if we can come down to the lower band, or get close to the lower band, because quite often what will happen is it will come down and do like an air kiss, maybe into the 8MA here, the red line. So if it can do that, then I'll take one off there, and then we'll see. So it's all small stuff here at the moment, but as far as pips and everything is concerned. But boy oh boy, did we have some good runs yesterday in the trading room yesterday afternoon. We made, a lot of the guys made well over 100 pips yesterday afternoon, based on this dollar yen. We had a great trade on the long side and just ran it. It was good, and even when we ran it, it still ended up going further and further. So we still left plenty on the table, but it doesn't matter once as a day trader and you can make 100 pips in an afternoon, then most day traders are happy with that. Now, what I could do is, whilst we're just waiting on this, now what's happened is we've just come down to the 2-minute bands. So let me just show you on a 2-minute chart. So you can see we've just come down to the 2-minute bands. So as you can see, it's hit that and it's just bouncing now for that. So it's just a case of whether it's going to be able to penetrate that and the lower side of that 2-minute band. So whilst we're waiting, what we'll do is we'll look at these markets a little bit. So I'm not going to go into too much on what happened yesterday, because that's in the past. But yeah, in the trading room yesterday, it was funny actually, because we'd already had this move yesterday in the dollar yen yesterday afternoon, and we couldn't get in. Well, our setups just got missed, and so we couldn't get in for that move. But we still ended up being able to get in here, right down in this zone, and then just run it for a lot of that, all the way up into about over 100 up here. So it was still good. But okay, where to next? That's the main thing, isn't it? So let's go out to the daily charts. We'll start off with the Footsie, because I know we've got people that like the Footsie. We can have the Footsie view for the following week. Okay, so the Footsie is literally bang on pretty much the target at 1590, I said last week. Sorry, my phone's ringing. I'm just making sure I've got my 5-minute chart available off screen, so I can still keep my eye on the other trade. So the Footsie, I had two targets. I had this is a daily chart here. So I had this target over here from these prior highs at around about 6529 I put in, and then we've got, and then I had 6590, so it's closed at 6592 as of yesterday. I think the markets are getting a little bit overbought up at this level. Now, overall, on the monthly chart, I'm obviously looking for these highs over here back up into the 65 700s. But that's on a monthly time frame. But do I think that we might be a little bit overcooked here? Yeah, I think so. So I'm going to just go with a flat week for this week. So I'm looking for certainly by next Friday about flat. So we could go up we could hobble around and go a little bit higher, whatever. But I'm looking for about flat or marginally down by next Friday. So maybe even come back down to retest the 6550 zone. So I'm not looking for much from the Footsie over the next week. But if it does carry on leaping higher and go up into that 6700 level, which is another at least 100 odd pips, then great. But at the moment, I just think that it may just be starting to run out of gas. It could have a final blip, but I'm just going to give it a flat week as far as what I'm looking for there. The big one though is oil. Oil, I'm looking for a breakout basically. So I think it's been testing these highs, testing. Look, all the way back to August of last year, testing the same price zone, and oil, I'm looking for a breakout. So I don't know exactly where it's going to come from, whether it's going to come from exactly where we are now. We're going to back off a little bit and then go, but I'm looking for oil for a breakout over the coming week or two through this 98 zone. I think we could have a nice punch up through 100. So watch oil, that's going to be the big one. So for the breakout there, so keep your eye on that chart. It's a regular pattern we trade, where a chart will make highs, keeps on backing off, but doesn't. More importantly, doesn't come down and break to new lows, as you can see over here. Doesn't come down to break to new lows, and then just break, and then it'll come up and it will break out. So looking for the breakout of sort of 98, and it should then just pretty much go, obviously with wiggles and noise in between, but it should just go. So that's the big one. Let's come down to the likes of the euro dollar. I'll just keep my eye on the other market here, because that's still moving up, the dollar yen, so I can still add to that position at the moment. Right now, the dollar yen, sorry, the euro dollar, as we can see, backed off again yesterday. I've got this trend line here because on the 4-hour chart, again, I had a really nice about 90 pips out of my last stake on the euro dollar yesterday, based on this. We had a nice head and shoulders pattern, and I think ultimately it's going to have more downside here. That's on an intraday basis there, but where for the daily charts right now, well, we've come back down. Overall, it's very, very sloppy, so I think we need to just be careful, because the overall price pattern is sloppy. But if I had to put a wager on it now, then I think we're going to come down and break below this daily 50. Now I just need to put these extra 2 orders in on the dollar yen. It's just coming up to the daily R1, but I'm just going to put them in here, and then we'll put those stops in. So just let's just do that. I'll press pause while I'm putting the stop. Well, there you go. So I've got the stops in now for those 2. So the better entries, because I've got them in at 34, and so we're just going to see now. So this is the overall, and if I lose on this, if it goes up to 45, then I will lose. I haven't calculated yet what it is, so it's 25 to 45, so that would be £200, that'd be £400 plus another 2. So I'll lose probably about 650 quid. So I'm keeping it fairly tight there, because I don't want to. You don't want to lose too much on a counter trend trade, because it just becomes annoying. So that's what we'll do there. Anyway, so euro dollar overall, I think we've got downside potential there, and I think the same is going to be with the pound. Pound's still got to come down to its lower trend channel line, and then it's a case of it'll probably do a little bounce against its trend channel line, and then I'm going to look for it to break. So that's what I'm looking for overall there. And the S&P, wonderful trend channel we've been in all this year, since late last year, as you can see, had the blip down below it, but then we came straight back up in it, didn't we? And so we're back up into the trend channel. So for now, trend remains up, but like I said with the Footsie, we could have a little bit of a pullback, but because I think it's got a little bit exhausted. The McClellan oscillator got overbought this week, and so I think we could have a little bit of a pullback, but at the moment trend remains up, not really too much to say, and so this 1600 now stays as support now. So we'll just see what happens there. Right, okay, so let's go back into the trade. So let's go back to the dollar yen, if I can find it on my watch list off screen. Already appreciating we're running quite richly already. So this is where we are. So we've had that next blip up here. So it's now just a case of, it's possible that it could want to go to 38, because 38 is the daily R1. But like I said, you can't always judge it exactly. So that's what I've had to do there. So it's just a case of now saying, okay, well, I'm still going to be looking for this lower band level. So if we get to the lower band, but then I'll take the back end off of the trade. So the back end entries, then I'll take those off if we come to the lower band. So that's what I'll be looking for there, and then we'll just see thereafter. So now I'll just open up those 2 tickets, and let's bring those 2 up, and I'll just move that across a little bit so you can still see the account as well. And I always show you my account when I'm doing these trades, but obviously when you're actually trading yourself, you don't want to be looking at your P&L. This is purely just because it's a form of entertainment, really, by me doing this on a Friday and just showing you some live trading. But you wouldn't normally be watching your P&L, obviously. But I just do this so you can see what I'm either making or losing. So, but for now, I'm just going to press pause and we'll come back to this. Okay, so we're just coming down towards that lower band. So if we can get down there, it's just hit the 8. So I said originally I'll take one off if we get to the 8, but just missed out on that. I think we just hit 25. I'm actually in the other room at the moment, just unloading the shopping. So I'm trying to keep my eye on it, but okay, it's just bouncing up again now. So looks like I'm gonna have to press pause, and we'll come back to this, see if it can get down there or not. Okay, as you can see, the price came back up again, and now it's coming back down for that band. But it's going to mean that, all right, we're up a little bit on that, but just the way it sometimes it can go. So as we're just punching down to that lower band, I'm going to be taking some off. So are we on it? We're right on it. There we go. Okay, so let's just taking one and see if it's going to come down a little bit lower. So just taking one off, just a case of seeing if it's actually going to roll over a little bit now. And then we can still play with the back end. Here we go. So let's take the second one off. So that's the shame sometimes when you're using something like a band, and obviously the price gets down like it did here earlier, and because it then came back up again, I've had to take some off at a slightly higher level. But ultimately, so where are we going to go to from here? So at least we've got a bit of profit locked in, so to speak. I will move my stop down. Let's move our stop down to this high now. So it looks like it's around about 101.40. So it did go up and hit that pivot. So I'm going to move my stop down to there, and then we're going to just see how we go. I'll probably take another one off down at this blue line at my 5-minute 21, and then just see if we can get a little bit of a run going. Remember we have got the big divergence in on the hourly time frame, and just see if we can capture a few more points out of it. So so I'll move that stop down. So let's get those done. Let's move this across. So 40. So it would still mean if it comes back up to 40, it'd probably still mean I'd have an overall loss, but the loss will be mitigated or be much lower because of the fact that I've at least got some points off of off that back end there. So we got in at 34s and got 26 and 27. So that's what's going on there. So it's now just a case of seeing where this may go to. Hopefully it doesn't come up and make another third peak. Sometimes it can. Market will make a peak. It's trying to reverse, and what will happen is it will make a peak, a second peak, and then it'll make a third peak, and then roll over. But I suspect even if I kept my stop at 45, that third peak would probably go and nick it. So I might as well move my stop down to 40. But hopefully it doesn't, and it just sort of starts to roll over from here. Anyway, we'll see. I'll press pause for now. Okay, so looks like we're now heading down towards that 5-minute 21. So we'll be taking one more off down there, and then we shall assess if we can get down there. And sometimes that's the thing with moving averages, if you're using moving averages or the bands, that sometimes because they're moving entities, you can get close, it then stalls here, let's say, and then moves up for 5 minutes, and then by the time it does all that, moving averages come up to meet it, and so you don't get it down at quite as low a price. So we're getting close there. So we go. So take that one off, very close. I'm watching it on eSignal as well, because see, there you go, good example there. So it's just got close, and then it's bouncing again. Don't know why I just chuck fruit in my mouth when I'm doing a recording, but anyway, so it's just bouncing again there now. So what I'm probably going to do though is if we come back to the hourly chart, if I get the chance to take that third unit off, which would be quite handy. I've got to go out today, so I've got to go out in about an hour. It's 12 minutes past 9 at the moment, so it's 12 minutes past 4 in US time. So if I can get this next one off, then what we may do is just move the stop down a little bit and then just see if I can get a bit of a runner, because we've had a really good run yesterday, and it wouldn't surprise me to see us back off and put a bit of a pullback in, and maybe we can get a bit of a run down to the round number or something like that, and it would actually make this trade not a bad little trade. We're up 200 quid at the moment if I can get this next bit locked off, and it wouldn't be a bad little trade. It would be a £400 trade, I guess. And when it's a counter trend trade like this, then that's not too bad. So we'll just see. If I think that's going to be my policy. So I'll press pause for now, and we'll just see what's going to happen here. Okay, just back, and yeah, I have been stopped here. It's come up and it's nicked my stop there, 101.40. I'm not bothered about going in. There's still a divergence there on the hourly chart, so I still think that overall, I think that price is probably on the euro, on the dollar yen. It's probably going to sort of roll over today. Is it worth me having another crack at it? No, I'm not going to bother, because I'm about to leave in 20 minutes. So as a result, just a very small loser this week. I always say that I show you every trade of winners and losers, and as a result of only a small loser at 157 quid, to getting some of that back end off, obviously offset some of that. So I think overall I'm right on it, but like I said, you have to trade manage and move your stops down, and so and I haven't got time to do any more trades this week, but a very, very small losing one this week, but nothing by comparison to what we've been making recently. It's been a really good run, and also even on the Friday updates. But it's always nice to show people, you don't always every single trade have winning trades. And you know what will happen now anyway? It's just going to nick me, and it's just going to roll straight over. Anyway, that's me done. I've got to head off in 10 minutes or so. Let's get this video out to you. Have a fabulous weekend, and I'll be back in touch on Monday with a full analysis update.